You know, there are some days when you open the fridge and you see nothing inside. Well, this is not the case. The ones who are wondering, we find ourselves in an amazing garden, a park. There are plenty of flowers in here. It's pretty much like, what is it called? Les Temps Perdus by Proust, Marcel Proust. The idea of synesthesia between colors, shapes, sizes, touches. We find ourselves in some moments when new perceptions come to us, but actually this is gonna be enough material for next vlog. The same thing happens almost every day with samples. You see, we are just overwhelmed by samples, sample libraries, Orchestra Soul, Spitfire Rodeo, Red Room, 8 Dial, you name it. It seems like a labyrinth. Okay, let's give it a try.
Yes.
I'm definitely too old for a labyrinth. We tend to think we are never okay with our sounds we already possess. Always look forward to the next sample library to buy. All people out there almost every day wants new samples. But the question is, do we really need them? Okay, tell it right away. In most cases we already possess sample libraries which are way enough for ourselves, for our musical projects. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. It's so cool, super cool. We sometimes better invest our time and our energy and money for our skills as musical composers. Okay guys, let's dive into the next topic. That is how samples influences ourselves and interfere with our lives as music composers and music artisans. So stay with me, guys, because I've now a present for you. I'm not here, but I'm here for what? Explain to us,
Okay,
please.
Right. Dave Matthews Band.
Dave Matthews Band.
Dave.
Dave Matthews.
No, era più aperta.
Drummer. 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 Please don't touch him. The pieces. They're gonna play. Yeah.
Tonight. We have the set list. Yeah. We found out the part about 1 or 2 days ago. Very likely it's going to be the same one, yeah?
So that's going to be just Dave Matthews or even the band?
7 guys.
Okay.
Well, it's your first time in a Dave Matthews concert. Yeah. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
So say something in Livornese.
Oh, Livornese? Belli, ci si vede dopo alla grande. Boy, una bestia.
Okay, just let me put my camera here. This should be a good position. Okay. Hi, my lovely lads. My headphones? Yes, we are ready to go. So, I'm just want to work to my project, my session, my logic session, and I'm trying to talk to you the same time about the content of this blog. Don't know if I can, but let's give it a try. So let's just move this guy around here. Okay. So did you like my giveaway? You know, when I decided to go to the concert of Dave Matthews Band, actually we've been very lucky to find the ticket and the right day for me to go. I said I definitely have to take some shoot on that, and why not? I include this on my vlog. It was since I've discovered them, Dave Matthews Band, that I nourished, that I nourished inside my heart the wish to see them live, perform live. And man, for the sake of all disclosures, I have to tell you right away, it took me only almost 20 years to realize my dream. So with that said, where is my instrument here? Sorry. With that said, how could I not insert this footage on the vlog? Okay, let's turn on the MIDI controller. Hang on, just tweaking around some rig here. Yes, okay. Is there some kind of connection between sample and a performance of a rock band? Well, there are in fact one or two or so. Now let's go back to topic. That is the use of samples. What's their very nature, what they are here for, and what is the most frequent context of use and working. So, to cut a long story short, I think we all can pretty much agree on the fact that, for the most part of it, samples are generally utilized by individuals, single man composers, producers, whatever you name it. Samples have to be loaded in a computer, you know, if that makes sense. They have to be seen through a monitor, like that. And their sound usually is coming out from a couple of speakers, like this one, beside that monitor, or headphones. And who is standing behind that monitor? One man, not a group. But with samples, you can have almost a whole majestic orchestra at your feet, actually under your finger on a MIDI keyboard. How many musicians are working in an orchestra? Well, it depends on how big the ensemble is, but let's do some kind of evaluation. Let's say, I don't know, 4 violins for first violins, 2 second violins, 3 violas, 2 cellos, 1 double bass, and we have already, let's calculate, we have already 12 persons just for the strings department, plus all the brass, woodwinds, percussions, vocals, and so on and so forth. Can we assume musicians working in a middle-sized orchestra are, let's say, yes, something like 30 musicians? Should raise the odds on such a gamble still further when taking into account really big orchestras, the ensembles which work for Hollywood, for instance. Okay, let's say then we could easily reach almost even more, but 50 musicians, 70, 80, 100. Jesus, That's insane. Sorry for that. I'm just doing two things in the same time. Forgive me. And that's amazing. Just awesome. You can compose complex music and not only compose but producing it as well. With the reverbs, dynamics, bunch of plugins, effects. But all that final sound is created 99% by just one person. All jokes aside, and just to be clear, the man behind that computer is exactly the one who is asked for mocking up the sound of an entire orchestra just with his samples. At least when composing for media, scoring a film. Film scoring is, by the way, just the main goal, I think, and the only purpose of the majority of sample library in this world nowadays. You know, all wanted to be film composers, write soundtrack, trailer music. Me too. That bloody Apple, bloody computer, bloody dough. You're just annoying me. What I was saying. All that ties in with another question. Actually, the first one which came to my mind back to the years I approached this world of samples and started to work with them. That is, are these bloody samples going to substitute human beings in the end? I've recently asked this question to composer Danny James during one of his gorgeous training session, which, by the way, you have to follow as well. So go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. That's gorgeous, amazing. You definitely have to check it out. Say thanks to me, Daniel. Cut long story short, his answer was mine as well. And that's exactly why this footage of a rock band concert is here for, to remember us that no sample could ever do better than a real musician playing his real instrument with tons of years of experience, studies, skills, placed in his violins or trumpet or harp or bone or whatever. No reason really to be concerned about that, at least in my humble opinion. You know what? When musicians are playing together, they create a unique vibe, unique vibes, which simple enough can't be realized really with sample, just with them. I don't think I have to point out the amount of energy blowing out from a live performance like the one I've been here, the one of Dave Matthews Band, or anyone else indeed. Oh, that's my phone, hang on. A typical approach in film scoring, just to speak about this context of work, when the budget is not big enough to rent an entire orchestra, yes, they're going to use a mock-up of the score made with samples, but they also add real instruments to it to give a sense of real perception and humanity. I was just thinking that the same thing, actually, it occurred to me when I played in the orchestra of the musical Beauty and the Beast some years ago. There were 4 MIDI keyboardists to have all the sounds of an orchestra with samples, obviously, but these sounds were melted together, though, with other, let's say, 10 or so musicians, just to give the real vibe. And so, anyways, man, my lads, my lovelies, I've been ranting too much. So, how should I end this first vlog? Let me give you my little, an insignificant piece of advice. You'll never run out of food with samples, okay? Never. We've started this vlog from the statement exiled from my fridge. There are bunches of sample libraries, tons of production societies and industries out there which expect nothing else but a composer with poor ideas asking for samples, and even worse, thinking creativity come just from the last sample collection on the market to buy. So, don't be just a sample cannibal. Be a true musician. Go out of your studio sometimes and meet other musicians and play with them and have fun. So guys, do you wanna see my musical project? Sorry, the one I'm working on just today. This one. And you know what? It's made of samples. So one of those is always welcomed. Love you lot. See you next time. Bye.